it was on the breakfast show. I said I feel this is the most important North London derby for a long time, and I only say that because I'm putting both teams in that. Last season, it was massive for Spurs because we didn't want them to get Champions League at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. For Arsenal, they could still have lost to Spurs, which they did, and still make Champions League. They should have done, they didn't. So in terms of...
Just reminded them that they didn't.
Exactly. They're on the upward trajectory, both of them.
Yeah.
And I think the quality in both teams, this is made for a fantastic game. And I'm really looking forward to it. And you know what? I'm going to put it out there. This is the longest streak of away teams not winning in the North London derby. It's 16. That's the longest streak in history. Wow. It's always gone with a home team or a draw. I'm going to say the run ends tomorrow.
Wow, you're throwing it out there. Of course, Arsenal sit at the top of the Premier League. I see your face there.
Yeah, I was thinking, why have I done that?
Arsenal sit at the top of the Premier League, but Spurs, just like Manchester City, who have of course got the small thing of the Manchester derby this weekend, both unbeaten. I want to ask this question to our listeners right now. Are Arsenal or Spurs closer to challenging Man City for the title? A lot of Arsenal fans will say, hang about, we're top of the pile right now. Why do we talk about Man City being... Listen, Man City are a complete different beast. We've seen them head into beast mode. Haaland's incredible. We'll talk more about that later as we talk about the Manchester derby. But all football fans, not just Arsenal and Spurs, who do you think is more likely to become closer to rivaling Manchester City at the top of the table? Because they look like they're the ones that are going to set pace. I know Arsenal are top right now, but, you know, Manchester City, they look incredible. Yeah. Liverpool look like they've run out a bit of steam a little bit because they've been the ones for the last 4 years who've been going neck and neck, and they've done it, and of course won the league, and they've done it brilliantly. It just feels like they've lost a little bit of gas, and losing Mane was a big thing. You know, you've got the manager in Conte who's a serial winner. We know that Spurs haven't been playing brilliant football when we've managed to get results. Then you've got Arteta. You know, he's learned a lot from being around Pep. He's brought some great players in there playing a really great style of football. But, you know, we saw it last season. Are they a bit too young? Maybe it's too much on their shoulders. 03717 22 3344. You can text us on 1089. Tweet us at talkSPORT. Who do you think are more likely to be at this end of the table challenging Manchester City? Because I think Manchester City are the ones that are going to be setting the pace. Who will be more likely to challenge them for the title this season? Arteta's Arsenal or Antonio Conte's Spurs? What do you think, Darren?
Look, I try to take my Spurs hat off when I say this, and it's difficult to predict now. They're both playing, in particular Arsenal playing fantastic stuff. But they did come against Manchester United. If you look at the teams they've played, that you'd expect the results. Palace at Selhurst Park is a tough place to go.
Very tough.
So that's the one you think, well, they showed a little bit there. Palace should have got into the game, and Arsenal
very chances as well.
Arsenal ended up winning that and seeing that out, which was unlike Arsenal of last year. They'd have not got that result. But when you head towards the transfer window, it's where you are in the league. And if you look at last season, Arsenal done nothing in the transfer window. Spurs side, Bentancur and Kulusevski, and that's what took them that extra step. Yeah, that gave them that extra push in January. If both of these sides are where they are or similar to where they are now, it's interesting to see what happens in January. I personally think, I'm going to say that the Arsenal squad is probably still a little bit too young, a little bit naive at times. We see that in the Manchester United game. The next two games for Arsenal shows you where they are, Spurs and Liverpool. And I think this game here shows you where Spurs are in terms of if they go to the Emirates and turn them over, they've got to be taken seriously. I'm going to put my hat on it and say Spurs are going to be the closer to matching and to challenging Manchester City.
Well, you look in terms of squad depth now, I think Spurs have really bolstered that squad because you're going into the weekend ahead of us, you know, the like Kulusevski could be injured. Then you think, well, Richarlison comes straight in. Then you're looking at Basuma, who finally got some minutes against Leicester. I thought he looked brilliant. Yeah. Do you play a three in the midfield to try and stop Arsenal from playing that brand of football that they play? So, yeah, the depth of squad. And most Arsenal fans I speak to do mention that about the depth of their squad. So do you think it could be where if these guys are going head-to-head in January time, then who bolsters that squad furthermore?
Yeah, I think so. But if you look at Arsenal, they do back him in the transfer windows apart from last January, and that's what kind of cost them towards the back end. It's a unique season. Everyone's saying it. With the World Cup slap bang in the middle, it's unique. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be fitness issues with players. But I think Spurs can handle that at the moment. On current squad, they can handle that better than Arsenal can. Tomorrow will be interesting because Arsenal are fresh. They've had Jesus, Martinelli, Ben White, Ramsdale didn't get much. Saka didn't play much of the second game. They're all fresh because most of them didn't go with the international. Spurs are going to see if they're fresh enough. A lot of our players, Richarlison, Son, Kane, all scored, so they'll be confident. I just feel Spurs, if they get something out of this game, if they get the victory, they need to be taken seriously. We talk about Manchester City. They should be the team looking like they're going to run away with it if we're going to talk about it like that. But a couple of injuries for them, and that could all end as well.